Alrighty guys, I wanted to make this video really quick because I'm afraid these guys are going to recover before I get a chance to do it, which is amazing that they recover this fast. Alright, so here's a Haworthia here. This is this side here. You can see this is already improving. Yesterday and the day before, almost the whole thing looked like this. You can see it's a brownish whitish color. Two things were happening. First off, it got too much sun. The window that it was in shifted. I had moved some things around and it got too much sun. And second off, it was way too dry. It didn't have nearly enough water. This pot here is another type. This one was the same. I wish I had these Haworthia. This guy's recovering it just from too much sun. They turn this brownish, kind of, some of them turn purplish, some of them just turn more brown, and it looks really alarming when it gets bad. And again, this one is already perking up. In real life, it looks a lot browner than it seems to be showing up on the camera here, but this one that I'm about to show you was way worse off looking than this one. It was super shriveled. Let's see here if I can find another. Sorry. Okay, I've got these guys hiding. You can see the brown in here. This one had too much sun and not nearly enough water. These guys are plumping up. They were the same color. See this guy here? See all these little babies? See the dark color here? This was too much stress, so too much light and a combination of not enough water in my case. This guy was really brown and he is perking up super. Okay, here's one. Here we go. Here's one that's a great example. This guy I was repotting. See how thin these leaves are? Which he's greening up. He was completely browned. Yeah, in real life these look a lot browner, but see how thin the leaves are here? This guy didn't have enough water, and actually this guy's broken off of a cluster, so he's gonna need to root a little bit. But this guy looked equally as thin. Let me compare these two just for alrighty. When they're together, you can tell how much browner this one is. This guy was just all thin, just like this, about 3 days ago. This is how much he's plumped up. He was thirsty. Like I've said in many videos, I feel like I keep repeating myself, but I never know if people are going to watch multiple videos or not. But I was really deathly ill. I've been extremely sick for about 3 years, but I had a really bad down spell where I couldn't even get out of bed or even check on my plants or water them, and so a lot of them got and we had a heat snap at the same time, so a lot of them got kind of peaked, and so I'm able to show you what they look like when they're not doing their best, but they perk up really fast, so have no fear. Let's see, while we're on the Haworthia theme, let's see some others here. This guy is recovering. I had ordered him. I haven't had this one long, although those others I've had a lot longer, and was so sick that I couldn't even pot him, so he sat bare root for probably 2 to 3 months. So he is recovering now and doing great, plumping up. Here's some different types here. These guys were all brown and purple just not long ago, and they're all happy and green just from about a week of less sun. Let's see what else we've got here. Here's another one. This guy was in a bad way. I mean, he was all this color here, this brownish color, about 2 days ago, and you can see how beautiful just from putting him in the shade. And in clusters, I wanted to mention, let's see, where's the big cluster? Okay, here we go. In clusters, a lot of times you'll get 1 or 2 that start, let me see here. Alrighty, let's see. See this guy here that's kind of brown right in here? A lot of times, yeah. All right, this guy wasn't even in the dirt, and I did not just break this. This just pulled up really easily. So if I have a cluster and only one of them, the tips are turning brown, I a lot of times assume, which I will replant this little guy here, I assume that the dirt in the pot has settled and that these top guys are not attached to the dirt, and that's why they're drying out faster than the rest of the cluster. And usually that is the case. And so with this guy, this is a really, this is a big pot. But this guy having a little brown, either this side just got a little more sun, which it doesn't really look like it from all these bright greens, or this guy's roots are up a bit and the dirt has fallen away. So I may end up repotting this or checking. If I am repotting a cluster or either in another pot or in the ground, I always mound up the dirt when I set it back on top, because it always settles, and then these center ones end up being kind of, because there's just this hole and the cluster looks nice and it's connecting to the dirt around the outside, but sometimes your inner ones aren't connecting. So keep that in mind if you have some random ones. Sorry, I'm looking around here seeing if there's any more really to show you, but if you have, here's the one that's got the purplish color still going. I'm going to move this over here and sit down in the light and show you this guy. Just keep that in mind if you have a cluster. This guy turns purple really easily and is making a lot of pups. You can see there's just, so despite him being stressed, he's greening up nicely and plumping up just fine and just shooting out all kinds of little babies. And a lot of times with these guys especially, they shoot out babies right where the leaves join the mom, and this leaf can start looking really sad, and you might get worried and think, oh no, it's dying, and it may well die, but it's well worth it for a whole nother pup if you lose one leaf slowly. And if it gets really shriveled up, you can just pull it off, and I don't have one that I can actually, yeah, once they get dried off, you can just totally peel them apart. But as you can see here, a lot of times right where the leaf joins, that will separate and another pup will come out. But if you want your Haworthias to have, some of them aren't as pretty, and look like this when they get stressed, the browner, but some of them get a really pretty purplish color. And if you want them to be stressed, if you want them to have the color, then more sun and less water. If they have the color and you don't want them to, less sun, more water. Here's another guy. This guy, for as plump as he is, almost never gets water. I have to water some of these almost, every other day or so when they're outside and it's hot, but some of these rarely get water at all. So keep that in mind. Even within varieties, their needs can change a lot. I am a Haworthia lover, and this video went on way longer. Oh, here's my baby trying to come out and see me. This video went way longer than I anticipated. I was just thinking this was going to be a couple-minute video. So anyways, there you go, Haworthias. If they're looking unhappy, as long as they're dry at the base and there's no rotting going on, these guys are a little bit loose, which is fine. I may put a little bit more top dressing actually on that. But if they're looking a little sad, they may just need a little love. Haworthias don't like a lot of sun, many of the varieties, to look their best anyways. Some of them can handle it. Obviously, here's another guy, but like these ones in particular, the more firmer kinds, really tolerate the shade really well, and like these gays down here tolerate the shade even more. But none of them really love full sun like a lot of the other succulents. So keep that in mind if they're looking unhappy, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.